Good afternoon and greetings to all, honorable juries and my fellow competitors. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the committee for having me today. My name is Jasmine as member of government, and I would like to point out my views on supporting today's motion. So, these corruptors. Corrupting is a very bad deed, as we all know, and it plays a big effect not only to its company, not only to their industry, but also to something more like their country. An example that I can put out is Venezuela. So, as we all know, Venezuela is currently experiencing severe economic breakthrough, where due to its president, their president likes to do corrupting activities, and his country is currently experiencing his whiplash. So, due to his actions, this country has fallen in debt. This country is filled with poverty and lack of food, lack of business economy. So, if you don't impoverish them with proportional fine, back again, this country, that country would experience the whiplash due to only an individual or a group of them. So for the payback, for the proportional fine, there will be some adjusting. And again, if you don't give them their punishment, it won't stop only in one person, but it would continue to their generation. Just like if you don't stop, or if you don't make them pay, these corruptors could pass them down to their generations, to their children, to their relatives. And that could cause more problems, that could make more corruptors. And not only big corruptors that will serve their punishment, serve their deed, but also some small corruptors. Why? Because they're for equality. If we stop small corruptors, if we don't stop small corruptors, they will turn into big ones. And if we don't stop big corruptors, they will turn into bigger ones. So, if we keep on sticking on the status quo, the rate of corruption will increase drastically. And the number of poor people, poverty will also drastically increase along them. So people would suffer and starve just because a person prioritized their own needs, prioritized their needs unfairly. In Indonesia, the number of poverty rate is still high, and Indonesia is also known for a poor country. So would you want Indonesia to be even poorer or just to stay poor? Of course, as citizens, we would like to see more improvements in our country. By that we could see, by that we can implement it by justice. Another example that I can put out is during the pandemic, there are still lots and lots of corruptors that are willing to treat the society unfairly. These corruptors raised the price of groceries even in a pandemic, where everyone is experiencing loss, experiencing hard times. But these corruptors would always find a way to make money unfairly. So, in conclusion, like if we don't punish them fairly, if we don't punish them in their proportion, then not only one people will suffer, but a whole country. That is all for my speech. Thank you.
As for me, I'm Koma, here as a member of the government, as a government whip. I would like to rebut the argument that has been said by the opposite member, or opposition member, sorry. First of all, the opposition member has been argued that impoverishment of corruptor is not justified or unfair. For this argument, I would say, which one is more unfair? Is it unfair to impoverishment, to make the corruptor feel how it feels to be poor, or is it unfair to take money from the people that really need it, those hardworking people, those who pay taxes and they live in poverty, they need the government for healthcare, welfare and social security. Now, the money that can be used to help them, it has been taken by this corruptor, right? Now, is it really unfair for the government to ask that money back from the corruptor? Of course, I said no. It's not unfair. It is very fair. And secondly, the opposition member also said that the amount of fine cannot be predicted because of human and systematical error. For this, I would like to argue that human, as a general, are not a perfect being, right? Though they always have errors maybe in their calculation or in their perception. So does it mean it's not justified? No, I would say no. It is perfectly justified. Why? Because corruptor, first of all, is also human. They like to play trick to fool people and system. How do they do this thing? It might be, for example, the corruptor, the money that they took from the government is sent to offshore bank that is very hard to be accessed and to get back. Like for a few years back, there is a corruptor that sent their money to Singapore bank, and until now we don't really get that money back, do we? And another example is they could buy an asset under someone's people name, for example, their parents or their uncle, right? They could buy a car but under their uncle's name. Of course, the system will not detect it as their asset, so it will give out systematical errors, because again, it is human playing tricks. Of course, for humans, we have to fight it back with humans, and humans always have errors, so it is justified. Now, this impoverishment of is as a punishment is actually very good, because it might create a solution in systematical error that has been happening in effort of fighting corruption. And the third point that I would like to argue is the opposition member argue that the impoverishment for punishment will also inflict the family member and their family member who might not be partake in the crime itself, right? For this, I would say the corruptor family member should not be treated as special. They should be treated as normally as any citizen would, right? If you are treating them as a special because they are a family member of a corruptor, it will not give a good image of the government, because why would they how will the citizen think if the corruptor, the government treating the family member of a corruptor very nicely? Of course, it will be very bad for public relation view, right? Now, if by any case the family member of the corruptor or their child does indeed go below poverty level because of this impoverishment effort, right? They should be given sufficient help. just like a normal citizen would, like giving them rice every few weeks or so, giving them eggs, noodles, like any other citizen, right? Now, this punishment could be funded thanks to the impoverishment effort, right? Because the money that we took from the corruptor is in turn that can be used to help their own family to live a sufficient lifestyle, just maybe above the poverty line, and also it will alleviate the government burden, because they have much more funding, so they can realize much more, welfare effort, health. They can realize more healthcare, giving people like social security, help, something like that. Now, in conclusion, I would like to remind you that in the government stance, as a government member, we believe impoverishment could be a deterrent that are needed to fight corruption, because in this political climate, in current status quo, corruption is not really punished very hard. So it's just like what the Prime Minister said, it's just a slap in the wrist. So it doesn't really have many deterrent effect. And secondly, the money that we took from the corruptor, we can make it go back to the citizen who need them, those poor people that need healthcare, and those farmer that needs water, for example, when it's dry season, and so on. And lastly, impoverishment effort could in turn is prevent this nation itself from being impoverished. Like it can prevent this country from to go bankrupt, because they need to take more loan to pay for their debt, right, from this corruptor, right? And from this point, from all those statements that has been said, and my argument, I would say we are proud as a government member. We are proud to propose. Thank you.